My name is Mara Stoica, and I'm the CEO of dymaptic. And with me today is our CTO, Christopher Moravec. dymaptic is a woman-owned GIS consulting and software development company. And we focus on basically everything that you see on the screen behind me. We're here today to share with you an exciting story about the intersection of AI and equity in decision-making. As I'm sure all of you are aware by now, the world of tech is undergoing significant changes, with AI taking center stage and equity becoming a tangible goal rather than just a topic for discussion. As a woman running a software development company, equity for me is not just a concept, it's personal. It's about ensuring fairness and inclusivity in our work and in everything that we do. At dymaptic, we believe in harnessing the power of data and technology to drive decisions in this world and protect this world. As a company, we work with multiple types of organizations, from local government to energy to nonprofits, and we help these companies unlock the potential of their data with custom applications and, of course, GeoAI. But for today, we'd like to focus on one specific organization, the City of Houston's Public Works Department. Our journey with City of Houston began with a story I'm sure many of you are familiar with. They had the software, they had the expertise, and they were overwhelmed by the workload. So we stepped in to help. We organized our data, we configured the servers, we optimized their servers, and we built applications. And then we took all of that and we integrated it, too many Ds. We integrated it with new and existing systems that the city had. But we didn't stop at just basic applications. That's not who we are. We challenged them to think beyond traditional GIS and delve into questions of equity. How can data be used to ensure fairness in their decision-making process? One such challenge was the distribution of sidewalks within the city of Houston. It's not enough to just build the sidewalks. How can we ensure that they're being built in the neighborhoods that need them the most, the neighborhoods where the more vulnerable population resides? Now, I'm going to pass things over to Christopher, and he will walk you through how we tackled this challenge.
So if I was going to try to figure out where to put sidewalks, the first thing I would do is I would ask. So we built a simple web application where members of the neighborhood can log in and draw in where they'd like to have a new sidewalk built. But we wanted to take that a step further. We wanted to make it social. Now, I know it's not going to be like one of those cat videos on Reddit, but by lowering the bar to entry, we encourage people to participate just by giving kudos or upvoting a potential sidewalk, either submitted by their neighbors or by the planning department. Once we've started to collect data, we move on to analysis. There are several ways that you can approach a problem like this, but we wanted to start with the CDC's Social Vulnerability Index, which is a number between 0 and 1, where 0 is least vulnerable and 1 is considered most vulnerable. Now, this data comes at the tract level, and we knew from talking to stakeholders that we needed to have a bit more resolution, a bit more detail. So we're able to use machine learning tools in ArcGIS Pro to go from the tract to the block group level, giving us a bit more resolution and detail in our analysis. But it's still just a social vulnerability index. What we really want to know is where are areas that are both socially vulnerable and would benefit from having sidewalks. To do that, we need to know where the current sidewalks are. Fortunately, the city of Houston has a large data set that contains their sidewalks. But like many data sets, it's missing some data. Like this residential neighborhood that has sidewalks, but there just aren't any in the data set. I'm sure none of you have ever seen that before. So whenever I need to extract data from an image like this, I turn to GeoAI. And I try to stick to the out-of-the-box machine learning tools or AI tools, pre-trained models in the Living Atlas. There isn't one for sidewalks, though. There is for roads. If we run that, we get this. Well, let me zoom in a little bit on one block here. You can see it gave us road center lines. It actually did give us some sidewalks, also driveways, maybe a fence line. It did kind of a lot. But it did get sidewalks. And I think this is because sidewalks are kind of like roads. They're just smaller and made for people instead of cars. So if we refine this model, retrain it a little bit, and add some post-processing, we get something that looks more like this. And we don't have to run this for the entire city of Houston. We only need to run it for small areas. Much like the geneticists in Jurassic Park, we don't need to figure out the whole genome. We only need GeoAI to fill in our missing gaps. Once we have sidewalks, we need to know where people would walk to. Libraries, schools, rail stations, community centers, just to name a few. We take those points and we combine it with our sidewalk network. And we build a cost raster. We mix that cost raster back into our social vulnerability index, and we have what maybe we could call a sidewalk vulnerability index that highlights areas of the city that are both socially vulnerable and would benefit from needing a sidewalk. Once we have this, we need to deliver it. We'll do that with an ArcGIS dashboard. Here, decision makers and key stakeholders can log in and select a proposed sidewalk project, either coming from the internal planning department or even proposed from the public. They can zoom in, they can understand where it is and analyze the neighborhood around it, and also understand the social vulnerability of the area. This was a lightning-fast overview of the workflow that we use to go from data collection through analysis and into delivery.
What you just witnessed, what Christopher demonstrated, is not just a simple workflow. It's a journey from data collection to advanced analysis. And it is all aimed at empowering decision makers with the tools and the knowledge and the data that they need to make the right decisions, to make better, more fair decisions. This story excites me because it showcases how technology can be used to do good in this world. AI isn't something to fear. It's a tool that we can use and should use for empowerment. I would like to take the opportunity of being here in front of all of you today to ask all of you to join us on this journey of equity through GeoAI. And I would like to ask you that together we help organizations like the City of Houston's Public Works realize the full potential of their data and make this world a better place for all of us. Thank you.